Hey everyone, welcome in, echohack here. Now today I'm going to show you nightmare dungeons for the very first time. I think many of you haven't had a chance to see or play this yet, so let me explain a little bit about how this works. So if I go into my inventory and I go to consumables, you can see now I'm at the end game, I'm level 62, you know, I have a lot of uniques, that sort of thing. I have all of these nightmare sigils. Now these are sacred nightmare sigils, these aren't the ancient ones, so you'll be able to access this actually quite early in the end game. So I have this one here, Gull Run Slums, and you can see it's a tier 7 one. And it has a few affixes associated with it. It has shadow damage. I deal 10% more shadow damage. There's something called Stormbane's Wrath here, and monsters do additional poison damage. So in order to do this nightmare dungeon, what I need to do, and we'll do it right now, is I'll right click on this and I'll consume the sigil. And what that will do is that will activate the nightmare dungeon. So you can see here, I'm already there on the map. It will tell you on the map, even if you haven't explored the area yet, by the way, that's a really key point. If you haven't explored the area yet, it'll still show you where the nightmare dungeon is, so you can go there. And now I can go in there and get additional rewards. So let's just play through the nightmare dungeon. I want to show you some things about Bone Spear on the way, because Bone Spear Necromancer is really awesome. I'm going to have a full guide for that here on the channel that you'll want to check out. And I guess the other thing that I'll mention here is that I'm the dungeon lead for MAXROLL. So I have been going through every single dungeon in the game and making guides for all of them. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to get through, you know, every single dungeon before launch. There's quite a lot of them, but you know, oh man, I got stunned there. Good thing I have my escape here, so I've got Blood Mist just in case. But yeah, let's go ahead and start slam dunking on these guys a little bit. There we go. Yeah, nice. So yeah, you can see I can do quite a bit of damage, but I'm not, you know, invincible. I don't have my super end game build put together yet. I'm not level 100. I haven't like super hard farmed the game quite yet. I actually don't think, in this review period that Blizzard is giving us, I don't think I'll actually have time to do that. Oh, wow. I was sitting there smashing the R key in order to hit Blood Mist, and it wasn't going off for some reason. There we go, just to test it out. Well, that's embarrassing. Okay, well, no worries. We'll still get through it. There's a reason I'm playing on softcore for this review, sort of like test period. When the game launches, I will be playing on hardcore, so we can't have that happen, right? Got to play a little bit more careful when the game actually does come out. All right, so we'll pick up these chests. So yeah, we've got 3 more prisoners to free to complete this first objective. But you may be wondering, okay, Gull Run Slums, you know, you hit that sigil, and you know, I forgot what actually is going on. So you actually hit the map here, and you'll see here on the map shadow damage, Stormbane's Wrath, monster poison damage. And what's really cool about this Bone Spear build, if you had a keen eye, you just saw it there, is that I have this unique, which I'll show you at the end of the dungeon. I'm going to show you all of my loot and items I have equipped. I'm going to show you my build as well towards the end of the video here. I have this unique that after I pick up a certain number of blood orbs, I get a free Bone Spirit, which is pretty wild. Bone Spirit is the highest scaling skill in terms of damage for the entire game. So a free one is it's pretty good. Now, you'll probably notice here one of the weaknesses of Necromancer is that Necromancer doesn't have really any movement skills at all. So I'm kind of stuck just like footing around on my own 2 feet. Now you might say, okay, well, Echo, why don't you just take the aspect in the Shift to Ruins that gives you crit movement speed on crit? And that's that's really great for leveling, by the way. That's actually, that aspect is in my leveling build. However, after you're done leveling, you really need your build to come together from like a damage and survivability perspective. And movement speed isn't necessarily gonna help you a lot there. So every single slot has to be super efficient in terms of what you do. So right now, what I have on my, holy cats, what was that? Right now, what I have on that slot is something that spreads my CC effects. And that's really critical to actually have for reasons that I'll explain when we take a look at the build at the end. Okay, so, oh man, I was hoping that Hornet didn't hit me. All right, so now we've got the 7 prisoners all taken care of. Now we're going into the second part of the dungeon. Now the good thing about this dungeon is that there isn't any bosses, but there are 3 objectives. So we've got to take care of this guy here. So what I can do is not get stunned by this guy. That would be good. Let's do that. There we go. So what I did there with Bone Spear is I kind of positioned myself so the Bone Spear would bounce off of the wall there. Because that guy had Suppressor, if my Bone Spear actually hit the edge of the Suppressor, it would just disappear. Suppressor is really nasty. But there are a couple of ways that you can kind of play around it a little bit. Particularly if you're playing keyboard and mouse, you can really control and aim where the Bone Spear is going to go a lot better, in my opinion. All right, so let's zoom those all up into one spot. Yeah, that's nice. So this is a slay all enemies objective, and honestly not my favorite objective in the game. I think probably my least favorite, if I'm being super honest. I think it's supposed to, I don't know. They improved it a little bit since the beta, but I think it probably still needs a little bit of work. Hopefully they'll listen to some of the feedback on this particular objective. Oh, there we go. There's the Bone Spear. Boom, 39,000 damage for free. That's nice. I love seeing the Bone Spirit for free. Let's see, 16 more enemies, and then we have a boss. Wait, do we have a boss? Oh, we do have a boss in this one. I'm silly. Oh, we just got another Ghoul Run Slums? Oh, maybe we'll run another Ghoul Run Slums here, y'all. I want to see back-to-back Ghoul Run Slums. So one of the benefits here of Nightmare Dungeons is if you find a particularly good Nightmare Dungeon, like let's say you like this Nightmare Dungeon, I think it's okay, but it could be better. There are a lot better Nightmare Dungeons. Let me tell you about Abandoned Mineworks sometime. Abandoned Mineworks is awesome. Is that you can actually save up all of the same one, and you can just do that one over and over again. Now let's see, hold on, let's see if we can just like quick kill this guy. Let's like pull him towards a wall, like come here. There we go. Oh, no, maybe that's good enough. Yeah, maybe that's good enough. He's not quite next to the wall. If he was next to the wall, we'd be able to hit him with like all the Bone Spear, but yeah, that's still pretty good. All right, so we completed it, and you'll see a couple things happened right away. So first of all, we've got this bubble. This is really, really important, especially if you're on hardcore. When the bubble appears, you're invulnerable inside the bubble, and the monsters will actually stop attacking you. So even if you're surrounded by a ton of monsters, this bubble here, you'll want to stand inside of it. It's really important. If you're standing outside of it, you can actually still die even if the dungeon is complete. So hardcore players, be aware of that one. So then you get this awakened glyph stone. And I'll, let me turn this off real quick so you can just see everything. So you can see here, I've got all of my Paragon glyphs. These go into the Paragon board. So I can choose which one I want to have here, and then I can upgrade it. So it'll even tell you can see this flashing yellow. It'll even tell you how much XP you're going to get. So there you go. Now I've upgraded it, and I've allocated it. And the items that I earned, those are just slotted right here into my inventory. So you can see I got this one, and I got this somewhere along the way. So Those are just like dropped right into my inventory. I probably don't want the yellow, so I'll just drop that on the ground. Now, the other thing that's really cool is we actually ended up getting another Ghoul Run Slumps. We actually got a tier 8 one. We just did the tier 7 one. So why don't we actually run that one again as well. It's got slightly different mods on it, but there's something very valuable about saving up a ton of the same kind of sigil. So I'll right click on this one. Apparently I can't do that. So you see I can't do that. So what I'll do is I'll leave the dungeon first. Now if it's a different dungeon and you right click on it, it'll kick you out of the dungeon. But if it's the same one, you can't do it. Alright. So now we have that, and then we do this, and then boom, and now we can go right back in. So we can run the same dungeon over and over and over again without having to wait for the typical 60-second dungeon reset timer. So normally when you do a dungeon, you can see here, the dungeon is reset, there's new mods and all that kind of thing. Normally when you do a dungeon, you have to wait at least 60 seconds, or you have to like party hop, or you have to do some shenanigans to get the dungeon to reset. Not when you have a sigil. You can simply just pop a new sigil and boom, you're right back in. So that's gonna be super, super good. Oh, this one. This is actually a super, super, super dangerous affix dungeon mod here, and I'll open up the menu here in a second, and I'll tell you all about it. Oh my goodness, this is a super dangerous one. Let's see. All right, so this is called Death Pulse. You can see here on the top left. Killing a monster releases a deadly lightning pulse after a short delay. So you'll see that right there, that little red shriek. It even sounds like I don't know, like a siren or something. You don't want to stand in that. That is super, super nasty. That thing can one-shot you. It's super nasty. In fact, I'm actually trying to stand in one just to show you like how nasty it is. Let's see, this is a tier 8. I wonder if this will one-shot me. I'm not that tanky. My character's not that tanky. Oh, okay, so that does 30% of my life, 20% of my life, something like that, somewhere in that range. So that's not too bad right now. But definitely that could be the thing that kind of like brings you over the top and kills you. So you still don't want to stand in those. Oh, nice. Let's go. All right. Next. All right. That's a good shrine. It's a little bit slow. Or sorry. It's the duration is a little bit short, is what I meant to say. Anyway, you'll notice there are these little like sort of like aftershock explosions, these little blue orbs you see on the ground. That is coming from a unique item. Now you can't get unique items in World Tier 1 or World Tier 2. You can only get them in World Tier 3, or some are even constrained only to World Tier 4. So you have to be World Tier 3, you have to be in the end game in order to get the uniques, and I'll show you that after we kill the boss here. Hopefully we can get a quick kill on this guy again. Or not again, but same boss though. Let's see. Let's see if we can bounce this off of this. No, he doesn't want to be nice to me today. Okay, now he's kind of in there. There we go. So you saw as soon as he got like right next to the wall, he just instantly died because the reflections from the bone spear killed him. So we can go ahead and allocate our glyphs. Boom. There's a level on the glyph, and then we can allocate the rest of that XP. Fantastic. And here's the loot we got. That's not a particularly great sword, so we can leave that one alone. All right, so I'm running Bone Spear. If you head over to the channel, you can actually see my full Bone Spear guide for this build if you're interested in running this. But I will show you kind of like the current version that I have right now. So just like the leveling guide, I have 2 into Bone Splinters. I'm running Unliving Energy and Perfectly Balanced passives. I have full Bone Spear all the way up to Paranormal Bone Spear. I have 1 point in Blight all the way to Supernatural Blight. Blood Mist. I've got Bone Prison to make everything vulnerable and to give me some essence. I've got Corpse Tendrils up to Blighted Corpse Tendrils to get those Blood Orbs, which are super awesome. And I've got full maxed out Bone Spirit, which I'll explain here in a bit, and Dreadful Bone Spirit, which when Bone Spirit hits an enemy, you generate 30 essence. So I've got maxed out Bone passives. I've got the Standalone and Memento Mori maxed out, Bone Storm, and of course Ossified Essence, the most powerful key passive in the entire game. Now, as for the loot, I actually have a number of uniques. So first of all is this Deathless Visage. We were just talking about this, how when Bone Spear, when you fire a Bone Spear, it leaves behind these little blue orbs on the ground, and then those explode. And that has a really interesting interaction with the like cold wind wall elite enemy. So when you shoot your Bone Spear through that, it actually slows the Bone Spear down, and it continues shooting those little explosions as long as the Bone Spear is on the field. So it's actually beneficial for you to shoot your Bone Spear through those, because then it'll just go pop, 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 pop. It's really, really great. But you can also see that this has a number of benefits for any bone skill. So if you're doing Bone Spirit for some reason, you might still want to wear this just for the critical strike damage or the physical damage or the armor or the maximum essence, right? Even if you're not doing Bone Spear. So keep that in mind as well. And then, of course, we have the Bone Spirit one that I mentioned at the very beginning. Now, this one is really great because it gives me 4 ranks to Bone Spirit. And then when I pick up 9 Blood Orbs, that's an unfortunate roll, hopefully. You want lower here, right? 5 Blood Orbs would be the best. You get a free Bone Spirit. So there's a lot of ways in the class to spawn Blood Orbs, and then you get a free Bone Spirit. So I get a free Bone Spirit, and then I have the effect on Bone Spirit, which gives me 30 essence. So essentially, Bone Spirit is both doing a ton of damage for me for free, and it's also refilling my essence so I can fire more Bone Spears. So I don't ever cast Bone Spirit, it just kind of casts for me. That's super fantastic. And of course I have in here the sort of like the rest of the build. I'm getting Blight for free from my Bone Prison. Whenever I hit a crowd-controlled enemy, that crowd-controlled effect is spreading to another unaffected enemy. Bone Spear's primary attack makes enemies vulnerable, and it does more damage. And of course, I'm doing, when I hit a vulnerable enemy, I can generate essence, and of course, 4 Umbral here, as well as Corpse Tendrils. So the build is pretty fantastic at this point at level 62. There are ways to make this build even better that I know about, that you can get in sort of like this super end game. But right now we're sort of like, hey, thanks for watching. If you like videos like this, then please subscribe and hit the like button for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.